station dedicated to providing alternatives that drive democracy and development. A world-class Pan-African online talk and music radio station where voices make a difference. Amplified Radio, promoting electoral democracy through programming.
Amplified Radio, your online talk and music radio station dedicated to providing alternatives that drive democracy and development in Africa. Amplified Radio, anywhere, all the time.
We are your online talk and music radio station dedicated to providing alternatives that drive democracy and development. A world-class Pan-African online talk and music radio station where voices make a difference. Amplified Radio, promoting electoral democracy through programming.
Let's talk about greatness, because greatness is not living in a big house or driving in a big car. Greatness is having a big dream and having a big heart. Big, B-I-G. Brightness ignites greatness. I'm going hard into this deep dream of mine. I ain't using no access.
I'm already recording this thing now. It's live already now. And you just start play. Somebody that look like a fool.
Place the spotlight so the whole world can get to hail us. But being rich does not make you famous.
Now I have to say this.
And being famous does not make you rich.
Yeah.
That is something a preacher would always
That's what the preacher would say. Like that. Don't mind me. This is what happens before the program goes live. Sure. Okay, I see LCN on the line. LCN 375. Don't worry, I'm going to join you in a short while now, and we will have the program. Okay, so SCN, just engage there. I know you're live already. Okay. All right, so let's go on. Yes, I see more people joining in now. Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Mohammed. I see you joining in as well. I guess the guys who will be watching this later will be wondering why I didn't include their names in the broadcast. So we're waiting for DJ Brown now to put us on, and then we'll be live completely. Yep. Okay, so great. We're starting that, and it's going to be an interesting conversation today, I assure you. It's nothing too far-fetched from what we already have in this good way to go in one way or the other. All right, so I'm sure you're going to play the FemiDLive bed now, and before Mohammed and Essence starts to wonder why am I pointing their data and not saying anything at all. All right, so Nigeria, of course, comes to fore once again at this very crucial time. Yeah, it does come to fore. And for those who will be watching later on YouTube, I do appreciate you taking your time to join in. And yes, as well, another person joined in, friend does, okay, as well. Somebody, oh, hi, Mohammed from Kano. I see your tweet. Okay, let's start the show now. Welcome to the show this very evening. I'm glad you joined in. Well, this is FemiDLive. This is where I get to talk politics and break it down for you in the most analytical way that we can have. For those joining in through Instagram, those joining in through Twitter, and those watching later on YouTube, I thank you for taking your time to join in. Well, it's no news at all, I must say, that the President, President Muhammadu Buhari, has been out of the country for some time now. For those counting carefully, they have selected that the number of days from the point where he transmitted that he is leaving the country is certainly over 90 days. But then, various reasons, apart from the letter, have been possibly attributed to why he had to leave the country. Some say he had to treat his health. Some other people say, well, his health could have been attended to even here in Nigeria. But arguments about how long he should be away and how long he needs to be away is what brings about the latest phrase. The phrase that is getting attention from people in Kano, people in Jos, people in Abuja, people in Lagos, wherever you are. Definitely, the attention comes to the concept of a private citizen. I'll be talking about the private citizen during the course of the show for just about a few more minutes, yeah? And we would see how this conversation makes sense. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari had to attend to his health. He did all he had to do legally before he left the country, right? Yes, he did. Supposedly, digging around into the life of the president is different from digging around or digging into the life of Muhammadu Buhari, who is an individual, a personality who occupies the position of being the president. So it brings forward a very simple question. Should or can, let me go with can presidents have a private life? Can presidents around the world have a private life? If you were the president of the country, do you want every detail of your life to be in the books, to be available to everyone, to be almost a situation where some people say, oh, it's a big brother moment. We are watching the president as he signs. It looks happy today. It looks sad. It looks different. It looks, never can tell. As a president, would you want your life to pretty much be put out there in the open? Now, one president experienced that some time ago in the United States. I'm talking about former President Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's experience was completely amazing. Now, Bill Clinton, at the time he had to undergo a little bit of his private life being brought forward in the open during the Monica Lewinsky's case, he was careful to say that it is nobody's business but ours. Even presidents have private lives. It is time to stop the pursuit of personal destruction and prying into private lives and get on with our national life. President William Jefferson Clinton said that on August 17, 1981. If you summarize this, it simply means even presidents have private lives. But of good interest was yesterday when the special assistant to the president here in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, described the situation differently, and she said, President Muhammadu Buhari is a private citizen. He has the right to keep some things away from you. He has the right to go on with whatever he wants to go on with. He has the right to just be in his own space and not get it invaded by what this paper thinks, or what that broadcast medium thinks, or what Nigerians even think, or what even a young lad or a child would think. Loretta Oneche described the state of the president and revealing his privacy a little bit different yesterday. She said, "For the life of me, I have no idea why anybody would disrespect another by asking for the details of their health status. As we speak, we have an acting president. President Buhari seems to be like a private citizen at the moment," she said. "We have no right, and it is very disrespectful for anyone to ask for his health status," she said. "In the UK, where I came from, nobody would release anybody's health records to another, not even the members of their family, unless the person decides to approve. On the social media, the president is well loved by Nigerians. I come across a lot of Nigerians who wish him well." Now, she did round off much of her statement by saying the prerogative is to speak on his ailments lies on the president himself. If he chooses, it's a choice. It's very disrespectful and very intrusive. We're intruding into his private rights. He has the right as a citizen of Nigeria. Anybody can get ill, and it's not something planned. Let's go back to the starting question I did put up. Who is a private citizen? Who should that be? Are you a private citizen? Are you able to say to yourself that when you do go out, when you do come in, and the choices you make essentially are yours and should not be reviewed or revealed by anybody else? A citizen who does not hold any official or public position, that's somebody who is private. I'm private. I don't have a public position right now. I don't owe the government money. The government doesn't pay me money. I don't know if anybody is collecting. Please check the ghost record for workers, ghost workers. Nobody is collecting money in my name. But it brings forward some very interesting claim. Can you serve in public space? Can you be in public light and at the same time expect all the details of your life to remain private? That's the question. Okay, so while I'm taking this, I'm breaking this down, I have a comment from Bob Soros. He says, sure, even if we do, but we the citizens also have the right to know what is happening to him. Good question. Which brings me to the part about how do we need to know? Why should we know? Why do you want to know? I've thought about this question over and over again. And by the way, there was a study that was done in Georgetown about the public and private lives of presidents by Professor Katyal. And he argued up to the point where there are some parts that needs to be known. There are some parts that will never be anybody's business, not anytime soon. My question is this. Some say if you're the president and you're using the resources of the government to cater for your health, for your family, and for all the things you have to do, then people have the right to know. I mean, if I'm paying you salary to do a job, and then the job peradventure is not being done as it should be, then I have the right to raise the question of query to say, what are you up to? What are you really all about? Is it disrespectful to ask about the state of the president? Much of this week has been spent in Unity Fountain in Abuja for those outside by the group Resume or Resign. They've carried on the campaign. And yes, one could almost allege that they were molested. I said allege because I've only seen much of the pictures. I've spoken to a couple of people there, even the co-convener, Dinyoju, who's very certain that the police went far beyond the boundaries of what they should have done or could have done and really had no reason to do so. Now, guys, it reminds me of what happens in the United States. If peradventure the president were to go under, that's some sort of operation, certainly he gets to hand over to his vice under Section 25 of their own U.S. Constitution for the period in which it goes under. But does going away for 3 months put you at ease? What does this say about the country? What does this say? Somebody said he's a London-based president. How do you feel about being distant from the person who made promises, the person who is able to fulfill the best of the knowledge of the promises he wants to get done? Are you confident that the ship has not been taken over by a different pilot who may have the spirit of the man but may not have the details of the man? Why do we need to know what is going on? If peradventure the president chooses to address the nation today and say, oh, this is what's happening to me, and this is how long it will take, would you feel different about him? Well, some people, like some say, said the cabal want a date of death for him. But would you feel different about it? Would you feel that you have communicated with the president or the president has communicated with you? How would you feel if the president were to put everything at rest at this point in time to carefully and conveniently address the nation? Should this argument go on for a long time? If the argument about the president being a private citizen continues as much as it is going on right now, what could possibly happen if the conversation gets better in terms of the president recovers and is back to duties and he has lost out 3 months of his leadership? What if the unspoken as well happens? Do we say this fragile, tongue-twisting conversation about the state of health of the president, would it make you feel, and I say it again, would it take away what is going on? These are questions one would rely on to ask. How much of privacy should a president have? How much of privacy can a president really be privileged to hold on to? These are fundamental questions that never leave anyone and should never leave anyone at any point in time. Is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria a private citizen? Is there anywhere in the law of the land that demands that it talks about his health? Some people say once beaten, twice shy. President Yaradua, maybe that's the first one. But should this event reoccur without a legal framework to cater for such a situation be put in place? Should we have it in place that the president is not a private citizen, or the president is a private citizen? Should we feel different about what we can account for, where we can account for them? Is the Nigerian president a private citizen? Could this lead to, if we know more, would it lead to a medical panel being instituted? Would it lead to the National Assembly changing their ground or reviewing their ground, or even speaking about what they really think? What would follow? What is following now, and how can things be different? For the sake of the country, for the sake of our land, I truly hope that the president would not maintain the status of keeping privacy as against stability in the country. Conversations can easily degenerate, but then how do we keep it going and even make it better? Thanks for listening in to FemiDLive today. I am Femi D. I'm